Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the special meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Friday, June 12th, 2020. The meeting was calendared for 1:30 p.m. It's 1:36 p.m. Dr. Campos will establish quorum.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. President. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. Today we have Commissioner Garcia and Commissioner James that are both at City Hall in our boardroom. We are also joined by Commissioner Davis and Commissioner Pelosa that are dialing in remotely from their City Hall offices. And then we also have Commissioner Villegas that's dialing in remotely. The city attorney is joining in all remotely from home. Mr. President, at this time you do have quorum. There are currently no callers on the line for general public comments, nor any commentary on any of the special items for today. We also do not have any commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section.
Okay, thank you. Then agenda item number 1 is the approval of the meeting minutes from the meeting of Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. Commissioner Garcia has seconded my motion that we approve those meeting minutes forthwith. Is there any objection, Commissioner Pelosa?
No objections, and I think Commissioner Davis is still trying to sign on. I just wanted to know. I'm going to go help him here in a second.
I just saw him a moment ago, so I know he's here.
Okay.
And we'll get a clearance from Commissioner Villegas. Commissioner Villegas?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and approve the meeting minutes. We know that Commissioner Davis, can you hear us? Okay, well, we'll get some assistance for his sign-on. So agenda item number 1 will be approved forthwith. Agenda item number 2 is an authority for expenditures for sanitation and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $21,100 to sponsor an exhibit booth space for the 2020 Black Engineer of the Year Award Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Conference. I want to hold this item for one moment because I think Commissioner Davis might want to speak to this item. So let's move to agenda item number 3 while we're working on bringing Commissioner Davis online. If we have to, we can just move him in here.
Davis is on the line now. Let me see if his microphone's unmuted at this time.
Okay. Yeah. If necessary, we can move Commissioner Davis into the room. We have room.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, Commissioner Davis.
Okay, good. Now,
okay, I'm going to go ahead and call number 2 again, Commissioner Davis, because I wanted to call this while you were obviously online with us. So, thank you, Cairo. Agenda item number 2, Authority for Expenditure, Career Communications Group Incorporated, Sanitation and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $21,100 to sponsor an exhibit booth space for the 2020 Black Engineer of the Year Award Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Conference. This sanitation is also requesting 6 registrations and 2 private interview spaces for the event. The conference was held in Washington, D.C. from February 13th to February 15th, 2020. And we have a representative from the Bureau on agenda item number 2.
We do. We have Ms. Jennifer Martinez that's joining us.
Hi, Jennifer. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, President James, Commissioners. My name is Jennifer Martinez. I'm with the Wastewater Engineering Services Division, and I'm here to speak on this AE for sponsoring, like you said, it was for 1 exhibit booth and 6 full access registrations and 2 private interview spaces at the BEA STEM conference held in Washington, D.C. this last February.
Okay, and Dr. Davis, didn't you attend that conference?
Yes, I did. This conference is an extension of the city's effort to do outreach to make sure that we have a diverse field of engineers in the city of Los Angeles. In particular, we've had over the years some dramatic decrease in terms of the numbers of particularly African-American engineers. And so in our outreach to not only NSBE, which we traditionally go to, we've extended to do BEA, and in that conference, we've been successful. We've worked for 2 years in recruiting at BEA, and as a result of the work that we have done in the citywide recruitment engineering program, we've been able to secure and interview 37 individuals from various areas, many of whom come from California, from historically Black colleges and universities, to be involved in the engineering employment for the city of Los Angeles. It's our hope in the future that we will be able to continue to pursue this as everybody is concerned about inclusion and the fact that we have a desire and a goal to increase inclusion of minorities in STEM in general, but in engineering in particular. This conference has been very valuable, and I think that in the future, if all of our departments or bureaus, such as sanitation, continue to participate, that we will continue to be successful and make a significant impact. So, Mr. President, this is a great conference and a great opportunity for the city to let individuals know how great it is to work for the city of Los Angeles and the fact that we provide great public engineering jobs, second to none in this country.
Well, and let me just add something to you, Commissioner Davis, and to sanitation. I know that you all, as you mentioned, the years of work preparing for it, the study that you did on making the city of Los Angeles the most competitive and providing them the best looking and most comprehensive footprint for that conference that was that you all did this year, I thought sounded like it went very well. So I wanted to thank you for that as well.
Thank you, President, and we look forward again to continuing to work with BEA and also continuing to work with each other, because I will just say this final thing. This year we were extremely successful. All of the city engineering hiring departments had a booth together, and we competed with the private industry, because this conference, like others, is competitive. It's not just public sector jobs, but private sector jobs. But by us collaborating with one another, we were able to have the visibility that reflected Los Angeles as a major employer. And so we hope to be able to collaborate again with all of the city departments in one, and we got a bigger punch, if you will, from our presentation and the variety of various engineering jobs that the city of Los Angeles provides. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Any questions, Commissioner Garcia? All right, thank you. Commissioner Caloza, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas.
No questions.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Davis. I'll take that as a motion from you.
Yes.
Yeah, correct, and I'll second that along with Commissioner Garcia. Any objection, Commissioner Caloza?
No objections, thank you.
Thank you. Any objection, Commissioner Villegas?
None.
All right, that'll be the order on agenda item number 2. We can send number 2 forthwith. Agenda
Mr.
item
President,
number 3.
On item number 2, it's an AFE, so the recommendation is to consider this item to be subject to the mayor's approval.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Campos. Just as soon as you reminded me, I went and forgot. So thank you for that. That will be the amended motion from Commissioner Davis, correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay, and that's my second, and along with Commissioner Garcia as well. So thank you, Dr. Campos, for the amendment. Agenda item number 3, Council Districts 5 and 13. Authority for expenditure for the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority, Sanitation in the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and an execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $100,000 for participation in this fiscal year's LA River kayaking activities, which took place in a prior 4-month period at the Sepulveda Basin in Elysian Valley. We have a representative from Sanitation on agenda item number 3.
We do. We have Mr. Wingtam.
Hi, good afternoon, President James and Board Commissioner, and also Dean and Executive Officer. My name is Wing Tam with LA Sanitation, and I'm here to request board approval for AFE for expenditure $100,000 to Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority, MRCA. And this amount is for participation in the LA River kayaking activities, which occur in May through September of 2019, which is basically the last summer, at the Sepulveda Basin in Elysian Valley. Sanitation and MRCA has been involved in this river kayaking activity since 2014. And the reason we've been participating is because the LA River is one of the water bodies that receives majority of the flow from the nearby water reclamation plant, which is the Tillman plant. And especially now we have a lot of TMDLs and water quality mandates. We participated with MRCA's help in order for us to be able to monitor the water quality and conduct health assessment, especially access to the middle of the sections of the river. Since getting water quality from the bank is not enough for us, so we have to be able to have access to the middle of the river. And that's why MRCA's allow us to work with them on that, be able to access that, as well as working with MRCA to allow for outreach and education of all the kayakers about water in the river. So that concludes my summary of what we're asking for. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tam. One question. We've done this, for years now. I think we've done it year in and year out in all the years I've been on the board now, coming up on 7 very soon. And completing 7, I should say, about to start year 8, hard to believe. But that said, in prior years, have we been, do you come to the board after we complete the program for that year, or are we really encumbering funds for the next year? Because of the dates of 2019 on here with an AE that's 2020, what's the explanation on that?
Yeah, typically we come to you after the event's done because there's very short periods, typically from Memorial Day, May to September, and we typically get invoice from MRCA around that time.
So it depends on when you get the invoice.
So basically it is for the previous summer, but still this fiscal year. But yes, normally after.
And they invoice us. That's the basis for it.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that explanation. Commissioner Villegas, any questions?
I do. Thanks for noticing that I unmuted my button. I just wanted to know, do we have like a track record of how many participants, go kayaking? Do you guys have tallies for all that? It's 100,000, that's why I'm asking.
Right. Now, the number of participants for kayaking, I don't have that, but certainly we could get that from MRCA. They keep track and record of that. Our activities with MRCA is basically assist us when we go out to do monitoring, basically collect water samples, because some of our people that gets in the water, we need to make sure that they're safe in the water, especially in the Sepulveda Basin, which is deeper, and we need basically their assistance. And of course, there's a number of outreach that we do to kayaker, but I don't have the number, but I'll get that to you.
No worries. I don't need that. You answered the question clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis, any questions on number 3?
None for me on 3.
Thank you. Commissioner Caloza on 3.
Thanks, President James. I did have a follow-up question. In line with what you asked about with the timing, I had just a similar question. If it's traditionally or in past years, do we pay this late into the fiscal year? I think it's been about 8 months since the work for this was completed, and it looks like the rush for this AFE was submitted, not until April of this year.
That's correct. So what happened was that we actually had to have the invoice modified a little bit from MRCA because there were some missing items that we actually request them to modify and give us an updated invoice. So that delayed a little bit, as well as because we have a number of turnovers in staffing dealing with this type of contracts now, and everything else going on, and the complexity of number of paperwork that we have to do with compliance. And that's how come this year a little bit later than normal. If I remember correctly, we probably got the latest invoice back in April. And then because right in the middle of COVID-19, that even delayed a little bit more because then we have to run through another department to have them also make sure we're complying with certain labor requirement. So there's those delays make this year, you're right, actually a little bit later than normal, but typically it's actually earlier.
Okay. And you mentioned there were some missing items that you were waiting on. Can you describe what those were?
No, there was a missing item. We had to have them redo the invoice back in April. So they actually provide us a new invoice for submittal.
And they had to give you a new invoice because why?
Because there was some detail missing from the invoice from the previous one they gave us, outlining what the activities were and where to supposed to be go to. So we have to kind of modify that so that it's the right account number, right dates, because we need to make sure that it doesn't get kicked back by accounting or controller's office.
Okay, and then just one last question for me. And I think a version of this was asked already, but I'm just wanted to confirm. Is this $100,000 amount, is that the same amount that we've paid in past years? Or is it increased or decreased at all?
As far as I remember, back since 2014 that we've been involved in this, it has not increased. It's always been 100,000.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. That's the number I remember as well, Wing, on that, my recollection. Your memory is going to be better than mine. No other questions on the queue. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 3, seconded by Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Villegas, any objection? All right, no objection from Commissioner
No
Villegas.
objection.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis, any objection on 3?
None, no objections.
Thank you. Commissioner Caloza on 3?
No objections, thank you.
All right, thank you. My motion was is as amended as indicated at the beginning of the meeting to include approval by the mayor's office. So Dr. Campos, this, without objection, the item will be sent with our standard mayor's office approval amendment. And then we can send it forthwith without objection as well. Dr. Campos, have we cleared the desk today?
Yes, you have.
Okay, we are adjourned, everyone. Have a nice, safe weekend, and we will talk to you at 1 point or 2 points next week. We are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.